We have a big star on hold that wants to say hi today. Waiting for them to get him back on hold so we can pick him up. Ladies and gentlemen.
How do you know if he's on hold?
Huh? Ben's got him.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
It's Billy West, everyone.
Yes, it is. Billy.
Yabo.
There he is.
Opie and Anthony and Jim Norton, big fans of Billy West. How are you, sir?
I know who you guys are. I know everything about you.
Is that good or bad?
Men.
Opie and Anthony.
Wow.
I made it with a woman. Alert the men.
Billy West, the voice of everything.
Not everything.
You jumped into just about everything. I'm amazed. Didn't you wind up getting like Bugs Bunny's gig?
Yeah, I did that for 10 years.
Christ.
And
the Warner Brothers gig.
Yeah, the Warner Brothers gig. I did Space Jam, and I did Bugs and Elmer Fudd,
and then Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
You of course were doing Stimpy, but I guess John Kay was doing Ren.
Yeah, and then he gets fired.
And then he got fired from his own show.
But I was the original guy who was supposed to do both. I was given a tape with what they wanted for both voices.
Uh-huh.
And I did the original demo, and that's what sold the show over at Nickelodeon. So, I mean, everybody likes to fantasize, that I just flew in there and, grabbed up everything. And it's like, I didn't give a fat frog's ass who did the other voice. I really didn't.
Yeah, because the Stimpy voice was great, of course.
Hey, Ren, will you button me?
And then you ended up all over Nickelodeon, and the Honey Nuts Cheerio guy. How did you get so much work so fast?
I think I kind of had, from being on the radio in Manhattan, I think I had kind of an electronic business card, because everybody on Madison Avenue listens to everybody who's on the radio.
Howie.
And I was one of those guys. I was in that mindset. Think about it, Like when you were starting out, you just wanted to be flavor of the month 12 times a year.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how I went in there, like a Terminator.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much changed Howard's show. It took on a whole nother direction. You were a talent on there that brought it up to another level.
Well, I was facilitated in different ways. They'd get me going on a certain premise, or they'd say, hey, try this tomorrow. And then, of course, Jackie was the $1 Million Man. I mean, he used to, he'd hand me something that was like worth $1 million in comedy dollars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was, that was like the golden age of Stern's show, with Jackie and you there. Some of the stuff.
It's like, I haven't listened in an awful long time. I'm a big fan of like AM radio.
Right.
And I listen to, the liberal talk shows that are starting to flourish in the face of all that other right-wing crap,
Yeah. Yeah, both sides can be pretty entertaining, though, when they really go off.
Yeah, but there's this thing that, over the years, everybody was trying to, conjure up, like, what must have happened over there when I left. And I used to read the posts, and I used to go, I don't remember this asshole being in the room when I said these things and did them.
Really?
And everybody's an expert. Here's what happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
Billy went in there one day, and he's ungrateful, and...
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy as to why you left, because you definitely were a shining star on that show. Some of the most memorable things that came out of Howard's show was Billy West, the Marge Schott stuff.
Schott thing.
I used to listen every morning when I was working, and when I was actually working for a living in construction. And the Marge Schott thing, the fucking Woodstock thing was... probably one of the funniest things that was ever done. Allison Steele doing the voiceover, and
Allison Steele, God.
And you doing Larry Fine.
Well, Larry was the basis for Stimpy's voice. Stimpy. But
and no one did Larry fucking
old Jewish guy, so we had to patch him up,
No one did Larry Fine. It was,
it
was a dead-on Larry Fine. It's like, God damn.
I thought that was so sublime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like.
And then putting him totally out of context into Woodstock that bit was fantastic.
Everything out of context with the Stooges is funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, hey, Mo, I broke your Pesach dishes. Oh, think nothing of a kid. Why are you, imbecile? This is the meat and this is the dairy. Ow, ow, ow. Hey, you missed one. No, I didn't.
God damn it.
Nothing, yeah. Wait a minute. Is that Yiddish for go take a shit in the ocean? Oh, a wandering Jew, eh? Well, get wandering.
You must have just grown up sitting in front of the television forever.
But you know what? I was right. My mother thought that they were idiots.
Yeah.
Stooges. She said, how can you watch those awful men? And look, I thought Mo was a genius, but I didn't know why. And then, believe it or not, he and Albert Einstein had had something in common. I know you won't believe this, but it's true. Mo actually explained E equals mc squared, the theory of relativity.
Yeah.
When he said, we ain't getting no place fast. And I said, oh, my God, it's true. He has a link to Albert Einstein. Except Mo said it where I could understand it, you know.
Did you grow up on that, though, watching a lot of cartoons, Mel Blanc?
Oh, sure. I watched it all and wondered how the hell can someone do this? Because he wasn't just a collection of witty little voices. That guy was the best damn actor.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Anthony does voices, right?
Anthony does amazing voices.
Just, watching, it's a lifetime of watching a lot of television and being a minor bird.
Yeah, create your own characters, though, because impressionists, here's my feeling on it. It's like, we all wanted to be like Rich Little or Frank Gorshin or the other guy there, David Fry.
Yeah.
And one day we woke up in an America that didn't give a fuck about impressionists.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? So as soon as I started doing, like, original characters, all of a sudden it was like, wow, look at that. And I felt like none of my things that I could ever come up with could measure up to what Mel Blanc did and that. But that's not the point. You can't be the next Mel Blanc by doing Mel Blanc's voices.
No.
You got to be like the best you.
Yeah, that was amazing. He came up with all of them, and so many of them, and they were so different. It wasn't like, you could tell this is the same guy doing this voice or that voice. Yeah.
Well, he inspired me to try to be as diverse as possible, like on Futurama. I tried to split it up, there'd be like Zap Brannigan, this is Zap Brannigan, Master of Time and Space and everything in between, and, winner of this year's Modesty Award.
Yeah.
He was based on all the big dumb announcers I came up with who loved far and away above everything else the sound of their own voice. They keep their balls in a wheelbarrow. It's like trying to make 8-syllable words out of one.
Yeah.
Coming to the Worcester Centrum.
Back to the Howard thing, though. What actually did happen? Because you guys were just riding a rocket ship, and then to have what I see, I don't know how modest you are, but what I see was a huge part of that show just disappear from it.
I wasn't really aware of that until years later. I started reading posts, and it was like, hey, I'm saying it's almost 10 years and people are still going back and forth about this. Like, what the heck? And, I've always said that I thought Howard was the greatest, and I never blamed him for my problems with management at K-Rock when I wanted a raise, you know what I mean? I mean, they just stopped returning my solicitor's phone calls, so I said to myself...
How could they not give you a raise?
I don't know. Look,
this business is filled with guys that are doing radio that just stink, and then
they don't get it.
Every once in a while, there's a talent that comes along like a Billy West. You gotta take care of them.
Well, they used to have these guys propped up there like Scott and Todd and this Franny and Zooey and Ricky and Zicky and and I say these guys got that certain nothing, don't they?
No shit.
And I'm going, how good do you have to frickin' be, to get some money? And it's like, no, not everybody wants to live in a sewer.
Right.
I'm not calling New York a sewer, but you got to have money to live there and stay away from the sewer. And it's ridiculous there. And they just stopped returning my lawyer's phone calls. So I said to myself, hey, you know what? I'm not a victim. I just went into Howard to say I'm leaving, and that I respected him and I loved him and I thanked him for the time there. And, for the first time in 12 years, I didn't know where I was going because I worked in Boston.
Yeah.
Radio.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make any, battle here or anything.
Oh, no.
Did he go to bat for you? I mean, that's...
See, I have no idea. But I never expected anything from anybody. I just said...
Yeah, I know you don't expect anything, but... Jesus
not
Christ.
giving back to me was a clear sign that said, well, you're not that valuable. So I didn't blame anybody or get mad or bitter. I just said, well, the chance of making real big money here will never happen if I can't get a raise.
That's just amazing.
Well, as far as the money goes, I'm sure you showed them, but, I mean...
You know what it is? I'm, like, the nicest guy. I'm the most, like, I don't know, what do you call it, sort of reticent guy when it comes to asking for money.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize you got to be like fucking Tony Soprano or something nowadays.
God damn, I used to be the same fucking way. No shit, I was just...
in there.
It was...
You fucking shut the roll. I want a fucking raise. You understand how fucking hard it is to live in New Jersey with no fucking money? This is the last fucking Sunday dinner I ever have at this house.
There's a time you go through...
It always sounds like he's ready to cry. Tony, you were never very good at athletics. What the fuck you got to say that for, Uncle Jones? What's the matter with you?
There's a time you go through where you're just kind of happy to be there. You know?
Yeah, I know.
And the money thing, it definitely is not even an issue. But then when you realize, your car is falling apart and you got to make your bills,
sure.
you kind of want to at least be compensated for what you're doing and the capacity that you're
Can I tell you this? Billy West is a very inspirational phone call. I hope you all realize that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, Jimmy.
Listen, you know what?
Coming soon.
I guess I'm here to teach lessons and whatever.
Yeah.
For aspiring radio people is, just like eat the shit sandwich for a while, but don't leave that as your precedent,
You're not going to say it, but it's pretty obvious that someone's ego got in the way, and it's too bad because...
I really don't know.
Because you were doing some great things, and we're in radio. Like, if someone like you came along, holy shit, we'd make sure you were taken care of. You kidding me?
Oh, there were guys, sidekicks, that just did so much better than I did. But I didn't think of myself as a sidekick. I just thought of myself as a utility infielder. but I was good at it. Right. And this weird soap opera kicked off about 2 months ago when some shitfuck took a quote of mine off my website and injected his own editorial.
What was that quote? What was the quote?
I was bitter about Stern, and then he lobbed it into the New York Post as if he had talked to me. And he put that I was bitter in there, and it went to Richard Johnson. And because of one scavenger, I wound up looking like a bag of dumb remarks.
Yeah, that same asshole has printed a lot of bullshit.
But, I mean, how can you get away with that, like taking something that you read somewhere and saying that they told it to you and that you sounded this or that?
You're talking about Chauncey Hayden?
Yeah.
Who just makes shit up? Yeah.
I'm a decent guy. I gave everything my all and make millions of people happy for over a decade, and still, no matter what the fuck you do, there'll always be like 13 and a half people who hate you for some reason.
Right, Billy, like I said, that was the golden age of that show, and... that was the you can't miss a day because you guys... had something there, and it was amazing.
I listened to the old tapes, and I'm like going, oh, my God. I don't even remember saying that. All I knew is that I'd come out of there just kind of like questioning myself, like, what the fuck did you just say?
Sometimes you listen to...
Most people got it. People are smart. They got it.
Yeah.
Would you ever go back to radio?
No, I think for guys like you, you're probably an anomaly. You probably get a lot of money because you hung in there and you made it. Yeah,
we're one of the lucky. We're one of the lucky shows. They're not going to bring a lot of radio shows to satellite, so we're lucky. We know
not high profile anyway. Besides, Howard. I mean,
I want a show.
You want a show?
That's right.
We got Saturday night here for you.
Oh yeah,
12 midnight.
We should talk.
Yeah,
we could give you some time, no problem.
I'd have a fun time,
The great thing is, you disappeared off of Howard's show, but then you just popped up everywhere doing voiceover work.
Well, actually, I guess in this weird Zen way, I have them to thank for just refusing to
pay you
up the ante because I went to nothing. I left and went to nothing. That's against all what your uncles told you.
Right.
Hey, we stupid.
Have something to back it up before you leave, you asshole.
Make sure you got something lined up.
Yep.
And then I have that work ethic because it was installed in me, because the immigrant mentality.
Yeah.
You had a chance to work 18 hours a day and you didn't do it? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you start hearing the Honey Nut Cheerio bee, and I'm like, I think that's Billy West.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just...
Cheerios, it's irresistible.
It's just, there you go.
I'm a recycler. I believe in recycling, because I'm big on that with garbage and stuff.
Yeah.
But I used that voice on that show, Doug.
Right.
That was Nickelodeon Doug, and Doug was a painfully shy 11-and-a-half-year-old, And this is my dog, Pork Chop.
And the cash rolls in.
Microphone loser. Hey, this is Roger Klotz, and I'm telling you I'm the coolest guy on radio, and I got control of your radio too. What do you think about that?
The same voice. And the cash rolls in. That's great.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, radio is like kind of you're a buyout basically. I know I always was because you don't really own anything, that you did, and you can't get residuals on it. So it's kind of a license to print money. And I think I was one of these guys that just said, wow, residuals is what keeps people alive out here.
Yep.
You don't hear from Terry Hatcher for years, and all of a sudden, bang, but she had to live somehow, and she got all those Superman residuals. Yeah. Oh, I do a Terry Hatcher impression.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Do these bones make me look fat? I don't know. I love the residual thing, and I explained it to my mom's boyfriend. He's an ex-firefighter, retired firefighter in Boston. And one day I came over there, and he's like, I want to know about show business. He wants to know about everything about show business. He thinks I'm like the president of show business.
Show business, yeah.
I'm as close as anybody will ever get in that block. But he would say, I got to ask you, Bill, what do you think is the best part of your job? Is it the people you work with? Is it the hours? What is the best part of your job? And I said, well, Walter, imagine you got on your robe and your slippers and you got on the mailbox and, in it there's a check for a fire you fought in 1973.
Yeah.
And he just looks at me and goes, gotcha. I said, I mean, it's still out. It's still out. It didn't come back. You did a really good job. You should be getting residuals for it.
That's a great way to put it.
Do you get really, really small paychecks in there as well, like for like $2.50, some little obscure thing you did?
Yeah, it's not like savings bonds, The more time goes on, the less they, are valued. And like the residuals just kind of wear down to nothing. But that's okay because, I get a work ethic. I go out every single day, and if I'm not doing a gig, I'll be auditioning because if you want to work, you got to audition.
What's the latest thing you've done or that is coming out?
I recorded a pilot for television for George of the Jungle. Mm-hmm. Kind of a different take on it. And I've done a million pilots. See, they don't make cartoon shows anymore. They just make a whole mess of pilots. And if one of them or two of them has emotional resonance, then they'll make a show out of it.
Really?
Yeah, it's a whole part of this trying to ensure success thing that they don't have quite down out here in Stupidwood. And,
so you're also, Futurama, is that still going?
Yes, every place in the world, if you don't mind me telling you. I got all this cool meat hanging off my face. Young lady, get me a sandwich from the dumpster and leave the maggots on it. And I did Professor Farnsworth. Yeah. Oh, good news, everyone. Bad news.
That show's fantastic,
one more in there, but I can't remember. That was my favorite show.
Hysterical. Yeah.
You gotta do Bugs before you leave, man.
Well, let's see. What did I get from Warner Brothers for doing that picture? Oh, I got $1 million. And I got it out of them 1 carat at a time, Doc.
That must have been something, though. All of a sudden, you're the voice of Bugs Bunny and the Warner Brothers characters.
When every idiot that walked down the hallway pops their head in the door while you're doing it and go, he's too much of a wise guy. And then another person will swing by 20 minutes later and pop their head in the door and he goes, he's too Jewish.
Oh, shit.
And then another idiot would come in and go, where's the tough guy?
Yeah, that's got to be rough because everybody is so familiar with that voice.
But, we're in radio. We came from radio, and our world was a sonic world more than visual.
Yeah.
Theater of the mind. These people don't think like that. They just have their own little perception of which ones they saw. Bugs had 1 million incarnations depending on the director.
Right.
Which is, they're putting that out, too, Warner Brother Home Video.
Oh, really?
Triple threat of classic animation. Yeah, it's the Looney Tunes Golden Collection, and I did some commentary on it, and it's got
like all the best stuff on it and beautiful, pristine. You know, because it's so funny. We think that the Warner Brothers cartoons are playing constantly like when we were kids.
Yeah.
But they're not. And I think there's a whole mess of kids that are like 6 and up now that don't really know who they are.
Yeah, not a clue.
No, and you know what? Cartoons were better then. I mean, it never occurred to me to burn down my own house.
No, I know.
When I was 7.
Yeah, for some reason they decided that some character, some animated animal hitting another one with a frying pan was going to get kids to do that, so they had to stop doing it.
It got so bad in the 70s that there was this woman, Peggy Chair, in Action for Children's Television, and she had scenes deleted from Josie and the Pussycat because one of the girls threw her cat in a bowl of spaghetti. And it was deemed very aggressive and very needless, so they cut out the scene because they thought kids would throw their cat in a bowl of spaghetti.
I remember watching edited Wabbit Season, Duck Season, where they wouldn't show Elmer shooting Daffy in the face with the gun. Wow. They cut to some freeze frame of Bugs looking out of his hole, and then would cut back to Daffy with his bill on his head. It's like, what the fuck?
I remember that. Yeah, you know, that's the worst thing you can do. I mean, it's not even like colorizing a movie. That you've got a color and black and white button on your TV set.
Yeah, let's take the joke right out of the cartoon.
At that point,
watch these politically correct surgeries of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
At that point, you should just not air it anymore.
Well,
yeah, if you're gonna butcher it like that, don't air it.
You know what it is? Research and focus groups and all that other crap doesn't work. It's a formula that was created by the business so that no one person is responsible for the decision to do something.
Yeah.
You know, they can say, hey, we did our research, we did the focus groups, and it just, you know, it failed. And then they invent new words for failure like deferred success.
Deferred success.
Yeah, that's the new one I heard out of Washington.
That's a great one.
I love that one. I was a deferred success for quite a while. I used to play music and... Yeah, kind of a bum, really.
So many years went by where cartoons and animation just sucked, and then and were just made for the smallest of children. You know, no more adults really watching it like we did growing up. I still watched Bugs Bunny and through my 20s and 30s and everything.
Did.
And
but
then
I doubt if you ever did anything like what was going on in those things. You realize that there are real live people that are responsible for this silly stuff that's going on, and you're more fascinated by that than the idea of how to find a new way to torture somebody.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with that. It was just entertaining. It was funny.
You know, when kids started doing stuff, after we cut the good stuff out of cartoons and we banished, characters that had cigars and all of that crap, it started going into Sesame Street, which I kind of loved. I thought was great whenever I got to see it. But I wasn't around in the 70s watching TV. I was playing music.
Yeah.
So,
goddamn hippie.
As soon as they started showing this Rainbow Bright and My Little Pony,
it was all that crap,
and Hammerman and all that other shit.
Yeah.
You know what happened? It's like that generation wound up to do drive-by shootings.
Yeah.
And killing their own kids. I mean, this phenomena swept the country. I'm going. Yeah, because you got to get your rocks off on something that's just out of your mind crazy on television.
Because then out of nowhere came like Beavis and Butthead and Ren and Stimpy, and all of a sudden adults could watch cartoons again and laugh their asses off.
Well, you know what I liked so much about that time is that Ren and Stimpy in no way felt like The Simpsons or looked like it, and Beavis and Butthead in no way took any dynamic from Ren and Stimpy or The Simpsons.
No, and it was
beautiful standalone cartoons.
It had a 50s look to it almost.
Yeah, kind of beatniky.
Yeah, Ren and Stimpy.
Well, I remember beatniks because I'm 54 years old.
And it just had a great look and feel to it, and the shock value out of a cartoon was every episode was amazing like that. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, there's more stuff coming, but I think computer is going to be the place to go, and I think... Well, satellite radio is like the Wild West, ain't it, for you guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Every day we're trying to figure this thing out.
There's no law here.
That's right.
Yeah. You know what it is? You guys, I know you bounced around and you did the drill and everything, but there's, I talk to a lot of these young disc jockeys, that are like, their voices crack when they're talking.
Yeah.
This is Booger with you. And I talked to these guys and said, we did everything because of you.
And I'm going, wow, you know, this is weird. Like, Private Parts was a training film for these guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
And it's like, you know, I always thought of Howard as like the first guy that ever went to Acapulco. You know, the first guy to ever go to Acapulco didn't have a good time. You know what I mean? He was like, you know, the bugs and the cracking the bushes open with a machete and, you know, getting bit by snakes and stuff. And then 200 years later, there's a bunch of these young guys sitting on a beach in a lounge chair going, hi, I'm Booger. You know. It's like
I invented Acapulco,
all
Robin.
All the walls were broken down until now, which is this new frontier, which I'm totally fascinated by. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Here's a question, because I can't do any impressions at all. Of all the like ones you do, like what's the one that's like the one that you're like, fucking, I'm glad I can do that one, like the most obscure or like hardest one?
It depends on, you could take any voice and put it in the most absurd situation, and I don't mean like the 80s stand-up comedy routine, like, you know, Jack Nicholson's dog. And it might sound something like this. You know, or, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, I liked when you took somebody and put them in, it's like, the comedians, the old comedians used to hate the young comedians because they claimed these guys needed to work blue to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, those old guys were the dirtiest bastards in the world if you ever hear outtakes and roasts and stuff. You know, and I used to say, man, it would be just so funny, I'd give anything to go back and see, like, George Dice Burns. You know? So I'm standing in the bank line with my tongue up this chick's ass. What else is there to do?
Oh, George.
Never mind, Gracie. Or, you know, actually from the old days, I loved Bob Hope.
Yeah.
Hey, hi. Hey, this is Bob Big Up from Heaven Hope. Hey, how about that death? Hey, this is Bob. Who? You know, they say that death is just a new beginning. And hey, it might be a new beginning, but I still look like the old ending. I still carry my medic alert bracelet in case I fall down a flight of clouds. Hey, how about that glaucoma? You want some cream in your coffee? Squeeze it right in there, yeah. Keep the motor running, boys. These jokes are featherballing.
Hey, speaking of radio, a lot of people are calling in saying you do a great Grease Man.
Oh, well, yeah. You know, he was one of those guys that kind of had that voice that Zapp Brannigan wound up doing. And the thing is I knew Phil Hartman before he died. He was really cool. When I was still in New York and I was up to nothing, you know, I just left radio, and I get this phone call. My wife got the call, and I'm on my way home out of the belly of the beast, and I hear the gates clang shut behind me. And my wife calls me and says, you won't believe who I was talking to for like an hour. I said, who? She said, Phil Hartman. He went on and on about how much he liked your stuff and how much he loved, you know. And I said, hey, honey, you know, I know so many people that are capable of pulling an elaborate joke like that. And then I got the phone number. I called him back, and it was him.
Wow.
And he says, you know, when are you going to come out to Hollywood, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, geez, I don't know. I really don't. I had nothing planned, to tell you the truth. But he was the nicest guy, the most generous guy as an actor and, you know, as a person who would, like, talk to you. And, you know, you didn't get that weird vibe from him.
It's so odd to have, because that's all I've heard about him are good things. You never heard, God, that guy was a prick. And to have him have to fucking go out like that was awful.
Oh, I know. And the thing was, Philip J. Fry on Futurama was named after Phil Hartman.
Really?
Yeah, and Zapp Brannigan was going to be done by Phil Hartman. So when people hear that, they go, oh, that's Billy doing Phil Hartman. But you know what? We talked about all that stuff before Futurama. And we both had that love of the big, dumb announcers, you know?
Yeah.
25, 30, 35 years ago.
Yeah, he used to do that.
You know, now kids hear those voices, and they assume they're being lied to. You know? Hey, everybody.
One of the best SNL bits he was ever in was the one where he played the doctor back in the 50s. They were all smoking cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
And tells the woman, you have lung fever. Yeah, smoke these. You have lung fever.
Oh, my God. Lung disease, that reminded me of the avian flu pandemic, you know, which I don't believe.
No, it's not.
It's a crock, you know. It's like
60-something people.
Come along and turn your lungs into chip dip. I doubt it. I doubt it, you know.
Yeah, 60-some-odd people have died worldwide, and we're supposed to start panicking now.
Yeah, really, it hasn't killed anybody in Europe.
Yeah.
And, the terror helicopters are flying around all night here in L.A. And terror! There's a lot of terror. There's just nothing but terror. And I believe in an America where a man can come home after a hard day's work and be able to put food on his family. And Rumsfeld's just as much of a dummy. He's like, things are more like they are now than they've ever been before. What?
God damn.
And Karl Rove, you can't see, but I've got both hands in front of my face, and I'm mimicking a blowjob, Karl Rove.
Billy, man, thanks for checking in.
Oh, and, hey, my pleasure. I got a website. I don't know if you guys ever went on it, but...
Plug away, my friend.
It's BillyWest.com. It's real easy.
Oh, you were able to get that one? Did you have to steal it? Did you have to wrangle it from somebody?
Somebody tried to buy it, and they were offering something, and they were a carpet company. What? I don't get that. What is this, a new claim jumping?
That's exactly what it is. It's like, my claim. Someone comes up with a mule and a pickaxe and sits on your fucking name.
Yeah, one day I was promised 40 acres and a mule, and I ain't getting nothing. So I'm going over to 7-Eleven, and I'm going to get me a pussy book. And then I'm going to get me a Slurpee.
Hey, Billy.
And pussy book is hot and Slurpee is cold. Together they form weather.
Hey, Billy, you still do Marge Shot or what?
Yeah, but that thing polarizes people, It's
it
like...
certainly does. That's a good way to put it, polarizes.
Even people who think it's funny in a certain situation try to act like, oh, my God, did you hear that? And everybody pretty much got it, This is a grotesque send-up of a totally racist woman.
Right.
I'm not racist. I'm really not. And
who didn't get that, though,
We're doing this grotesque send-up of this woman, who would barge into the show and go, 80% of U.S. crime is committed by colored. all right, Mrs. Schott, sit down. I'm sorry, I meant niggers. and then some white guy would call in and go, I think what you're doing is just really terrible, and you're cutting away at the beautiful mosaic, which is New York. And it's people like you. Your parents must be really proud of you. And I'd be like, shit. And then a black guy would call in and go, I know that's Billy West.
Yeah.
I know that's Billy West. Laughing his bajongas off.
Yeah, some people just didn't understand.
It's always like a white guy. A sensitive white guy that thinks he's going to represent, the African-American community.
Yeah.
I love that.
And they're laughing their asses off.
They can't say anything on their own.
Yeah, some people don't understand that it's, a joke of, you're doing an impersonation, over-the-top impersonation of this woman who is known for saying some pretty awful things.
She did say really rank things. I was blown away by the stuff that she said.
I don't know what it is about radio. When you're on TV or you're an actor in a movie, you could play the most heinous character and it's fine. They never say wow, you're some racist when you were playing that part, But then on the radio, if you do some kind of character, people call up and it's like you standing on a soapbox outside in the street blurting this shit out.
Oh, yeah. They attack soap opera characters because people are fanatics. They really believe that this guy on the show is double indemnity murderer or something, and they go up to them in the stores and go, how could you? It's weird.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, but it's all to be fun, we're not like the government, we're not promoting a culture of death and destruction and torture. We represent love and laughter and joy of some type.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that things get rough, but it's the modern age. We're not saying anything that anybody on the street everywhere USA or the world, isn't saying.
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
It's hard to reinvent language as much as they try, though, with that deferred success shit.
Billy, I would have given you more money, but I'm out in the Hamptons.
You're what?
Tell him, Robin.
Oh, yeah.
No, you know what? I wanted to pay you more, but I got to buy a house out in the Hamptons.
I don't know. He didn't, I had no idea, like, where he was on all that stuff. But it's out here, it's really bad. It's so snobby. When I first got here, I go to my first Hollywood party, and I figure, I'm going to make sure I have some $100 bills on me.
Yeah.
So when I go to buy a Red Bull,
pull that out.
It's like, oh, hey, look at this guy. And I hand the guy 100, and he goes, ooh, do you have anything bigger? So you got to have money somehow.
Absolutely.
All right, Billy.
BillyWest.com. Billy,
hey, I really appreciate it, you guys.
Great, man.
I've followed your career, and I'm glad I got to talk to you.
If you're in New York, pop in.
Yes, I'd
love to have you on here live.
How about that?
All right,
cool, man.
All right.
Take it easy.
All right. That's all here, folks.
There he goes, Billy West. Thanks, Billy.
Bye.
That was great. That was very cool to have Billy West on the program today.
Yes.
He was being very diplomatic, by the way. Very obvious.
Well, you got to keep... I noticed the L.A. people, they like keeping all their doors open.
Yeah.
All the windows of opportunity... always left open. They never bash anyone anymore. Right, Jim?
Hey, I don't know what they do.
Howard screwed him. It's very obvious. Because someone was becoming a little too big on his radio show.
If it's about money, and you have someone like Billy West on your show, just killing, making your show unbelievably funny, and he asks management for money, and they don't give it to him, and you have the power to... you have Mel's ear, you have his home phone number... You call him up and go, this guy is making my show great. Pay him what he wants. You know what they do? They pay him. That's how it works.
He doesn't go to bat for anyone.
Jackie, same thing.
Boyd Gary, executive producer of the show there, he still has to do bar gigs.
Fucking bar gigs that guy is doing.
He still has to do bar gigs.
He still has to go out there and deal with pests putting wow stickers on his back during photo ops.
That's right.
Which is hysterical.
He still has to deal with that shit because Howard won't pay him.
You see what they do to him now at these bar gigs? All these fucking pests go out. They get around him for a photo op, and he's smiling. And right when the guy snaps the picture, they pull out wow signs and wow stickers and shit.
Yeah.
And snap.
There you go, Howard. A guy that made your show really, really good over the years. You still don't pay him.
Yeah. The guy that organizes everything. Jackie Martling, same thing. The guy was there from just about the start on the old NBC days. And the guy helped build that show into what it became. And what does he get? I'd like a little more money. It's management's problem, Jackie. Go to management. Yeah, you're the guy that could go to management and absolutely get Jackie the money he wanted. But where was Howard in that fucking negotiation?
The only one he pays is the one that shouldn't get anything.
And believe me, that isn't speculation.
The only one he pays is Robin, who's the most useless part of the show.
The whole?
Yeah. Because she's never gonna, outshine Howie.
Oh.
She's just gonna sit there
stop.
and giggle from her dunking booth.
You guys have always gone to bat for me with money. Seriously.
Oh, we know that, actually.
I mean, I have to make that
whether
public
we should
record.
or not.
I'm not saying it was a bright move. Believe me, that could have been better spent, dumbasses, but shit, it's on paper.
A lot of people picked up on the fact that when Billy West was on the phone, I go, man, when a guy like you comes along, you gotta hire him immediately.
Do you think they picked up when I said, Billy, this phone call is inspirational?
Yes, of course.
But you know what? You guys have taken great care of me. I never had financial complaints.
You need to be cared for.
Oh, you.
Like a little lost lamb.
I'm not.